Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your T-shirted historian. All right, here we are with another Saturday with The Week in Geek. And I was really hoping that Ironcaster could make it today. He's got some family issues happening. Because I want to say thank you, Ironcaster, for getting me sucked into something else that I really didn't want to be into right now. So yeah, a few weeks ago on our Tuesday show, he was showing me some new Evercade stuff, and I hadn't actually jumped into any of that stuff. But it got to playing on me, and I finally broke down and got a couple units for myself. You see, I got the Technos Japan edition. I got the Taito edition. Why did I get these in particular? Well, this one lets me play all the Double Dragon games, like including the ones on the NES and the arcade versions. And this one lets me play one of my all-time favorite arcade classics that honestly just gotta have. I mean, all the RPG guys out there who were around when this came out will recognize this sucker. Really nice sound, too. Yeah. It was Kadash. No, it isn't Kadash. It's actually Rostan. You guys remember this one, right? I mean, I know the screen doesn't look so great from here, but honestly, it's in good color and stuff. It's just the stuff picking up on it. It's arcade perfect. Absolutely. Just like I remember it. So thanks, Ironcaster. Because there's a whole bunch of other cartridges and stuff out there, too, that have games I really want to play. Like, there's a Namco Museum one with all the Splatterhouse games on it. Damn it. I hate finding new obsessions because I don't need them right now. I'm trying to pay off my car. And as it is, you know, the old movie craze is still going on because Hollywood's still really not making anything that gets me excited enough to want to go see it in the theater, and definitely not excited enough to go and buy it on physical media yet. But there's still plenty of good old movies that are absolutely worth my time, worth my money, and I love collecting them, and I love watching them whenever I want to. Because all these streaming services get expensive after a while. And, you know, if you have like 5 or 6 streaming services, you can't watch them all at once. So you end up having to pick and choose. And unfortunately, you're locked in for a month, or worse, you're locked in for a year. And if they never get anything good, you got boned. There ain't no way about it. And you could pick the cheaper plans that don't have ads and stuff like that, but who's got the extra money for that? Not me. So I'm having to cut back on some of that stuff. Going to have to make some hard decisions. I may have to cut Crunchyroll because I'm just really not watching as much anime as I used to at one point, and that kind of kills me. But I guess I'm just not as much of an anime fanatic as I used to be. And there's enough good TV shows out there that I really like. And so far, Paramount Plus has really just won its place, for my money, because everything it's put out that is Taylor Sheridan has been pretty good, or has been really good, I should say. And there's a new series from Guy Ritchie called Mobland that absolutely is really great. I wish Grimm would watch it. I don't know if Grimm is really into a lot of English crime thriller type stuff, gang stuff, but he should be. Well, all right, guys. I don't have a lot of ranting to do today so much, except that I will have to say that I'm cutting back on a lot of my Kickstarter stuff. In fact, I'm probably going to zero out a lot of it because just ain't got the money for it right now. I'd love to beg you guys for donations. I mean, that would be great. But I'm not the begging kind. I'd like to think that I'm giving you some kind of quality and I'm earning your money, not just begging you for it. So if you want a tip, that's great. I do totally appreciate it. I'll throw you a clip, and of course say thank you on the air. Super sticker, super chat. I'll definitely highlight and tell you, talk about it. So that's the best I can offer you right now. I'm still kind of contemplating on what to do with memberships, and I know I've been saying that for a while, but the deal with memberships is, one, I want to be able to offer you something that's worth your money if I'm going to ask you for money. So I may need a little bit of input from you out there in the audience. Throw me some comments. Tell me what you'd like to see for membership. Do you want a game stream with me? Join me in some 7 Days to Die or some Pal World or something? Do you just want to have some private, crosstalk stream time? We can do it off the air and just go private for that if you like. Or, what is it you guys want? A monthly adventure? A monthly map? I don't know. What is within my possibilities? What can I do for you? Let me earn your money. I don't want to take it from you. Let me earn it. Just tell me how I can. All right. Let's get our folks on here, shall we? I got some really cool people on here tonight. I mean, I have Grim, as always, who is cool. And absolutely should be watching more British gang drama stuff.
The more people tell me to watch things, the more I don't. So
I know. I'm the same way.
If you want me to watch it, you have to stop talking about it.
Okay. This guy I owe a great debt of gratitude to, because we've actually been kind of following each other for a little while and on X. But it wasn't until he put Ralts on his show that I realized Ralts was actually up on X again. And for those of y'all who don't know, Ralts is the guy who actually got me into writing and creating artwork for RPGs way back in the day when we were working on Year of the Zombie. So he kind of, acted as like a third man to get me back together with Ralts, and I couldn't be happier, so I owe you a debt of gratitude. This is Yang Zan Zhao. How are you?
Excellent.
And thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you very much for what you did for me on that.
Oh, I didn't even know. I just enjoyed Raltz's writing, and if anyone doesn't know, I believe it's on Jay Ishiro Finney's channel Sunday evenings. Raltz actually DMs a D&D game.
Yeah, I need to check that out or even get involved. Except for the fact that I've already got a game on Sundays with Grim. So we'll see how it turns out. Yeah, there's always a replay. Yeah, don't you wish you were on here now, Patty? Nah, I don't know what you're doing, but you're not up here. Mm-hmm. You're probably in school or something, aren't you? Busy with the family. Yeah, okay. I tease him a lot, but he's a good guy. And I have another guest here today. We've talked a little bit here and there on Twitter, and he's come up in the chat a few times, and I'm happy to have him. His internet connection is really intermittent, so I guess when he gets back on, I'll put him on.
Yeah.
You're downtown running errands. Oh, well, okay. Edward Kopp. Hey, it's nice to see you. Why don't you hold monthly watch parties for the movies you're watching? Well, that's not a bad idea. A lot of people do that. I guess I have to figure out how to put that together, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, just to expose people to what good movies look like back in the 80s and the 90s, I need Hollywood to get off of fentanyl, and I needed to get back on cocaine. Movies were better on cocaine. You guys agree?
For sure.
I think it's the ketamine rather than the fentanyl.
Oh, is it the ketamine? Yeah, that's even worse.
So it is a tranquilizer, so
Yeah.
That's true. Although just this week I have Amazon Prime, and before I get rid of it, I said I'm going to go through some of these old movies, and even though their interface is completely unusable, I started to find a bunch of movies from like the late 90s and early 2000s, and I found one with Christian Slater, and then I started watching it, and it was bad, like really bad. And I was like, "What the heck is this?" So I had to look it up, and I forgot the director was Uwe Boll.
Oh my
Um,
god. Oh, it's
which it-
Alone in the Dark, isn't it?
yes, that's exactly what it was.
Oh,
Uh,
I have that
so
on DVD, believe it or not. I know, that's horrible. But check this out. As bad as that movie was, I owe Uwe Boll for one thing on that. The DVD had like 4 or 5 really good metal bands putting their videos out that at the time I had never heard of. So that was my introduction to Dimmu Borgir. That was my introduction to oh my god, to In Flames. That was my introduction to a couple of other bands, and yeah, I kind of became a black metal and fan overnight because of all of that. So, good things come from shit, like flowers. Like,
true.
Well, there's more because there's brass.
yes, and here he is. He's back. Okay, Ultra.
All right. Am I coming through okay?
Yes, you are.
All right. StreamYard just does not like me for some reason. This is not the first time I've had issues with StreamYard before, so I'm sorry about that confusion there.
No, it's fine. It's fine, bro. I mean, I understand if connections get kind of garbagey. It happens to everybody. And Edward, you want 70s action and blaxploitation reviews? Really? I don't even do a lot of blaxploitation films, but some of the 70s action, yeah, I can do that.
You got to do Superfly.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. Is everybody does the same ones. Like Dolomite, Superfly,
Shaft.
Yeah. It's like, come on.
And then after you've done some of those, you can do I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
That movie is just great.
That was good.
That was a good movie. Rosie Greer and the Two-Headed Man. Yeah, no kidding. That's one I would like to watch, actually. Let's see. T-shirt. Grim and Yang watch episode playing from Black Mirror. Oh, man. You know what? Okay. I started watching Black Mirror the other day, and like the very first episode, is about the woman who part of her brain is replaced with synthetic stuff, but then she keeps getting ads and they keep charging more and more for the service, and eventually it doesn't end well. And after watching it, I was just kind of like, this is the most depressing shit I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so unhappy. It's not even, and I guess they're just trying to make a social comment, but at the same time, I'm just like, this is too much.
This kind of Charlie Brooker's thing, though.
They've had a bunch of episodes like that that are just, depressing.
Yeah, the social credit score one. I loved it, and I mean, the way it ended was funny, so that was at least a treat. But this one's just horrible. I mean, he kills her and then he kills himself on his stream show. So, and I'm just like, man, this is
a bit too close to reality.
Yeah, way too close to reality. Way too close to reality.
So you were talking about the blaxploitation stuff, and Patty's talking about Black Dynamite, which is one of my favorite little cartoons I watched on Adult Swim, and I also saw the live action one.
The live action was funny.
It was. I loved it. I used to have it before iTunes stopped working with me. But did you know that someone actually made a blaxploitation D20 game? You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG still to this day. It's called Solid, the blaxploitation experience.
Yep, I know that one. I've never played it, but I know it.
Yeah, I just found it. I was playing a game with some friends, not a friend with some games. I got my words mixed up there for some reason. And after the game was over, we were just talking about different games we wanted to try, and he brought it up, and I'm reading through the features, and one of the features is called the Uncle Tom effect.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
I remember the person who made it getting in a lot of trouble when they made it. Mark Ronhagen's zombie game was set in the 70s, I think. That's got a strong undercurrent of blaxploitation in it.
Magnificent Seven says, do Blackula. You know, I've actually seen that film, and it was actually pretty good. For those of y'all who don't know, Blackula, the character who plays Blackula, that's William Marshall. And if you've ever heard this guy's voice, it's like instantly recognizable if you grew up in the 70s and 80s, because he did so many narration voices for things. And it was such a dark voice.
I like the version of Blackula on the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
I haven't seen it.
Did any of you guys watch that the Black Jesus television show that was out for a while? Did any of you guys watch that?
Mm-mm.
No.
It was about, I guess there was like a literal like Black Jesus came down and was like in the ghetto or something, just interacting with everyone. And I only saw like clips of it here and there, but it's as bad as you basically can think it is.
I think the closest I got was like Brother from Another Planet, but
Scratch then I lick, Patty.
Have I ever heard of the movie The Baby? I don't know. I've heard of Manhattan Baby by Lucio Fulci. I've watched that one, but not The Baby. I mean, I've watched Rosemary's Baby, and I've seen the Alive series. So that was her, but not The Baby, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, I was gonna actually partake of the Roger Corman sale that's going on over at Shout Factory, but money's a little thin right now, so I may have to skip on that. Although I really would like a Blu-ray copy of Space Truckers, just because that movie was so much fun. I don't care.
It feels like charging full price would be an insult to Roger Corman's memory. Really?
Yeah, that's true.
The man knew how to budget.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, good enough.
William, I know that movie that you're talking about, and yeah, I can't even say the name on stream. Yes, it's Ninjas from Outer Space.
Oh yeah, I actually was just literally thinking about that. Was like, wasn't there like some movie? And then he brought it up. Yeah, it was a movie. I remember seeing the cover of it.
Okay, cool. Baby's a nickname for. Okay, I'll have to check that out. He doesn't. Wow, he's not developmentally disabled. Oh, that's horrible. That doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, the weird films are interesting.
Sometimes.
What was that one about the? I can't remember the name of the movie, but it got a lot of. It was a weird cult-like following for a minute. It was like about a guy takes like a child's brain and puts in like a grown woman or something like that.
Yeah. Bugger, can't remember what it's called, but that was fairly recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a fairly recent, and it was talked about for a while, and then I just forgot about it until just now. So, no, but makes me also, I don't know why, it's also making me think of the old Steve Martin movie, The Man with Two Brains. Did y'all ever watch that one?
Oh yeah, used to have it on DVD.
Yeah, I was like really young when I watched it because my dad thought it was PG-13, not realizing it was rated R. And the only reason we found that out is as we get to the scene where Steve Martin's trying to find a woman to put the brain in, and he asked that, I guess it was like an escort to see the rest of her, and she flashes him.
Yep.
And that's why I was like, yeah, this is not appropriate.
Speaking of that, it's funny you would say that.
The film you're thinking of. Poor Things.
What?
Emma Stone.
Poor Things?
With the baby brain transplanted into the woman's body.
Yep. Speaking of that, Ultra, I've got something for you there on that. I thought this was kind of cute. This is a robbery foiling attempt that I think everybody will enjoy.
Oh, I saw this.
I remember this.
I'd probably do the same thing. Not gonna lie, I'd do the same thing.
I don't know if it would work for you, but
well, not the flashing part. That if I was the one robbing the store.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't work both ways. No.
Sabo, it's good to see you. Oh my God, Mr. No Legs! Holy crap, that movie! Dude's a crime boss in a wheelchair. Kind of like, yeah, that's like the one that probably every nerd out there trying to advocate for wheelchairs in dungeons is probably going to be trying to cite. But I'm just kind of like, that was a movie, right?
In the words of Lawnmower Death, if you got no legs, don't come crawling to me.
Jeez. All right, so we had stuff that happened this week. One of the first things that was a big surprise for me was Jeremy Crawford, of all people, is leaving Wizards of the Coast. He's already announced that, he's taken off. And, honestly, I can't say that's a huge loss because I always considered Crawford to be kind of a mental furball. I mean, although he is very useful if you need to, catch some Z's.
Well, that's made the brand 50% more exciting already.
Yeah, hasn't it though? I mean, just having Crawford's name attached to it.
Yeah.
And I almost kind of wonder, with Perkins leaving as well, I almost kind of wonder if all these old guard aren't going to go and reform and try to create a new studio or something.
I think that's part of it. We were talking a little bit backstage. I think overall they're all leaving because they're being forced out. Because I think Wizards is going to try selling the Dungeons and Dragons brand. I'm not sure to who yet. If you would have asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said like Tencent or some Chinese company, but I don't know about now. But I do think for the people who are leaving, like if you look at, I've been following Mike Merles, and he's making his own game. And I got a feeling these guys are going to try something, whether it's together or separately. Especially since if you look at the history of D&D, every time there's an unpopular version, some company rises. So, like the late 90s, very early 2000s, you had Castles and Crusades. The next dip, you get Pathfinder. And, now it's wide open. I would say Kelsey with Shadow Dark has the pole position on the new big game. But, if these guys can get their act together, and I don't see anything coming out from Wizards that indicates they're going to come out with D&D 60 or 7, that's going to fix a lot of these problems.
Yeah.
So
well, Colville's going to fix it all. It's going to be Colville.
I think
Drawsteel.
Shadow Dark's in an interesting position, but it is still currently very much an indie game studio. So, very small. Sure. They would have to undergo such a rapid expansion. I think they would burn themselves out if they tried to sort of move in and take over the space. I think it would have to be either a new company with some clout and money behind it or a pre-existing mid-tier company. But it's hard to think of anybody really positioned for that at the moment.
I mean, Kelsey's last Kickstarter got what 2.4 million?
Yeah.
So she's ostensibly got the financial backing to be able to, maybe put something decent together. I mean, more than most.
More than most, for sure.
I couldn't fight her with what I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd still be expensive because you'd have to find somebody who really understands distribution on a retail level. You would have to have some online strategy, not necessarily an online game, but just online sales beyond Kickstarters. So, that's 2 salaries, which you're probably looking at 6 figures a year. And she'll lose at least half of that money just to taxes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My thought process on it all is because that's actually the distribution thing has been brought up in a lot of different conversations regarding Shadow Dark, and have now been seeing, not long after that discussion was had, game stores posting up their Shadow Dark books, and not just nice. Shadow Dark itself, but also the designs and even the Solo Dark book as well, because solo play is now such a big thing now in today's hobby. And another question that's been asked is, Kelsey's making a decent chunk of change to fund all this. But the question is, what if a company decided, hey, here's $10 million, let us have it all, and you run off into the sunset? Do we think she'd do it, or is she going to hold on to it?
Well, I mean, let's be 100% honest, okay? Everybody has a price. Everybody has a point at which, it doesn't matter what their moral subjectivities are, they will fold and take the money. And the best proof of that I have is George Lucas. And I'm sure he regrets that when he sees what's been done with Star Wars. Yeah.
He's actively come out and said he's regretted a lot of the stuff that Disney's done with the Star Wars franchise, hasn't he? I thought.
I don't know if he actually has or not, but he probably is privately, if not probably publicly.
Cries himself to sleep in his Scrooge McDuck swimming pool every night.
Yeah.
Yep. And Ducks reporters.
They're dissolving this thing in a molten salt, and they're doing electrochemistry on it. Why don't they call it molten salt? They won't.
Yeah, methinks a computer game studio will buy the license. Yeah, if Shadow Dart gets a computer game, that's kind of like your money highway right there, because computer games are actually they're bigger than movies now. So.
I mean, what's left of Wizards and Hasbro might sell out the rights to the IP to someone else to produce for it, same as they have with their other properties. So yeah, it's a Renegade.
I don't know about Renegade though. Renegade seems to be specialized in, really popular old IPs. They do Power Rangers, Transformers, G.I. Joe, that kind of stuff.
The problem is they're not, at least in my opinion, they're not good games. Like, I got the Power Rangers one. Cannot make heads or tails of it. Don't like the new White Wolf stuff that they released, the new vampires and all that. Haven't enjoyed that one a bit. So
nobody does.
They may release all the games, but that doesn't mean they're any good.
Yeah, that's it. That is true. I don't know how that's going to shake out. They may just deep six it for a little while and bring it back in 10 or 15 years to see what somebody can do with it after a couple of changes of corporate heads and cleaning out the studios and hiring all new people and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of options.
I think part of it too is going to depend on what Hasbro needs. From what I recall, Hasbro itself is hurting. So they, just like Wizards of the Coast is trying to get rid of people who are high paid, they might try selling off stuff that doesn't sell as well for, just some quick cash to boost their numbers. So there could be a fire sale. And I mean, even with the D&D brand, one thing I was surprised is Wizards of the Coast hasn't re-released any of the other old IP. I mean, why not Gamma World or, some more sci-fi themed game? D&D is always the big name, but it all goes in waves. You've got a bunch of people hooked on 5e now. Why don't you make some way to transfer a similar character over to, some space adventure? Then get everybody to buy something that's very different.
Well, I thought that was what was going to happen with Starfinder, to be honest, because I invested heavily in Starfinder 1. And after I, read the rules and everything, I was telling my friends, I was going guys, if they make a Pathfinder 2, it's going to look a lot like this. And sure enough, Pathfinder 2 came along, and it does actually look more like Starfinder, but it's so... I mean, I couldn't navigate those books to save my life, and so I've, nobody I know wants to play Pathfinder 2, so we've pretty much sworn off of it. Starfinder is still nice, but now they're coming out with the Starfinder 2, and I'm just kind of did you guys not learn anything the first time? Oh, my ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. Mercurius for Australian $2, and you didn't say anything, my man. Did you want to say something? Well, I have got some brand new media to drop on you, sir. Here's a really special one.
You're one of them special folks, ain't you?
Maybe that was rude. Hang on. Let's let Charlie Bronson say it.
Shut your fucking mouth! No problem, Charlie. Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
I love that movie. Or perhaps we can talk about mushrooms.
Resentment can grow quietly without much warning after a storm. Mushrooms can too. Shiitake?
I'm sorry. That is so memeable. It is insane. You have nothing to say, and you're saying. I do appreciate you either way, man. Thank you very much for always being the guy who's got my back on Saturdays. Oh my god. I don't know how they thought that game could be released in that state with all the crap that went against it. I mean, the fact that it's just shooting down the charts. And then you have other games like what is it? Is it South of Heaven that actually sold 0 copies on the day one, and it's currently rocketing downward on the Steam charts. I mean, this stuff is just
that sort of
bad.
stop motion looking thing.
Yeah, that one. But I will tell you one I am getting hyped for, and it is this one.
South of Midnight. That's what it was.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Well, let's see. Obviously, Dusk Bloods is a good one. Now, I'm not sure whether or not this is going to go because a lot of times we try to put up videos and they go at glacial pace. So I apologize if it doesn't go through all the way. It's usually a StreamYard thing. But this one looks fun. I mean, some of you guys might actually be old enough to remember this one.
Your time is running out.
This place is a room where we grow our future.
Your weapons fail. Your ammunition runs low.
And you've yet to see our most beautiful creation. All you have is your hatred and your individuality.
Now don't you wish you joined us? Would you then feel so alone?
Shodan coming back. This Night Dive Studio is always doing old games and they're redoing them. And yeah, you can see it's kind of stuttering because of our connection, but I mean, these were games that did not hold your hand. I know Grim will be excited to play that one.
I feel very old.
I know. I feel old too.
Yeah, that was not one of the games I ever got the chance to play originally. I grew up Nintendo 64, then original Xbox, and now all I got currently is a normal Xbox 360. I just play Skyrim on most of the time.
Ain't that funny how a game that old is still getting a lot more play than brand new triple and quadruple A titles that are dropping? I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
when you have something good, you know it.
Yeah, that and BioShock Infinite's another of my favorite ones I like to play. Oh, and Call of Duty World at War, the original World War II COD game.
I did not like BioShock Infinite. Although the DLC made it good. I mean, but still, it's just, it didn't make me happy. I don't know.
It wasn't as
Anyway.
good. It was still good.
Yeah. It had moments. I just thought it was kind of silly in parts, and it didn't hold up to Rapture at all.
No. It wasn't as well realized or thought out, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
I thought it had a really good story, and I liked the idea of a floating city compared to how the previous was like an underwater one. I did like the contrast between the two, but that's just me personally.
Well,
Yeah.
part of the problem is since it's, an offshoot of the original, it's kind of like, ooh, let's make another city that's like in an unusual place. And so it just kind of feels like an also ran.
Well, there's always a lighthouse and there's always a girl.
Yep. All right. Well, let me see what we got for the rest of this week. We had a few things hitting us this week.
I did drop a couple of links in the private chat.
Yeah. Ironcaster was supposed to show us this brand new Funyuns that he got. Dude let me down.
What's supposed to be so special about them?
Well, I mean, anytime we have cool new snack foods. See, that's stuff that I've been thinking about doing is having another snack show. Just because gamer nerds who still, well, even if you're not participating at a live table, usually you've got a snack on hand to enjoy while you are playing your game. And I mean, currently this is kind of my thing, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to get these after the tariffs, but all it is just like chili crisps with sesame and peanuts and stuff, and it's really, really good. They're addictively good. I believe it's like straight up mainland Chinese. And then, of course, there's just regular chili crisp. This is the stuff that doesn't have oil in it. It's just, crunchy and tasty. So I don't know where I'm going to import any of that stuff from now. But then again, I may have to stock up now. I heard Amazon actually canceled everybody's orders that were coming over from China because of the tariffs until the tariff situation settles down. And again, I'm not a political channel, and I would always tell people it's like, it's stupid to wish for your government to fail. It's stupid to wish for your president to fail. Whether I support, whether I voted for Trump or not, he's in office now, and I got to at least say that, I hope he doesn't fail, because if he fails, the nation fails, and I don't want this nation to fail.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things about the whole situation is, before the internet, the world was very different in terms of like every country, every region had their own media, and you wouldn't necessarily know what was going on in some other place, and you could discover something cool. But with the internet, it's sort of like become very homogenized. But if we go back to where we'll still have the internet, but you can't practically buy the media from these other countries, China or others. So, we could go back to where, let's say 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we could be discovering all these crazy things that went on that we never knew about. It'll be an adventure all over again.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, being, like a first generation weeaboo myself, I can say that, when we discovered anime and we enjoyed it, it was kind of like you either had to know somebody who had been over in Japan and had recorded the stuff and was bringing it back to you, or you had to have some kind of a contact or a connection to stuff, because getting anime back in the day and trading tapes was the way we did it. I mean, in fact, that's one of the reasons why we would go to conventions, was just to trade tapes.
Or you were watching postage stamp sized like fan subs or dubs of like Ranma on Real Player, like that big.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be 100% honest though. The fan subs are better than the localizers by far. Edward, about the costs of noodles given the tariffs, a lot of the noodle production places like Nongshim actually have a US based factory. So unless there is some particular ingredient that they can only source from China, I suspect they'll still be in production. I mean, they may artificially raise their prices and say, "Oh, it's because of the tariffs," but
Well, yeah, that's the other thing I think people aren't considering necessarily. After all, everyone put up their prices unnecessarily when we had all the other financial shocks because they saw an opportunity to do it. So.
Exactly. But this dropped this week, and I thought this was pretty funny, so I'm going to go ahead and show it because I like stuff like this. But, since the the Miyazaki thing, gained so much traction.
だ初めて俺に伝えている。絶望の
Yeah,
匂い
I saw this
面
too.
白いことですよか。ほら、こんなにガチンが多すぎて。
お父さん、
あかん。
ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ、万歳、ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
なんで辛いのかね。
だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてね。この世界、季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだった。大きにまたグレートになるかな。
Oh boy.
あのさ、有名人
トトロ
が誰かのマンコを掴んでいいさ。そうやらせるで。
That's a very classy way of saying that phrase.
Looks like you got someone else in the back. Shit.
We've got Joel. Joel.
Your squeal of childish joy is just wonderful. That made my entire week, man.
Bro, I'm always happy to see you.
I know it's delightful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You guys know Joel? Joel Clark, who did
I haunt
Lone Wolf Fist?
Grim whenever I get a chance to. So Grim knows me. I don't know Yang Yang Zhao or Hunter here though.
Well, you should definitely
I've heard
go
of your
on.
infamy.
You should definitely go on Yang's show if you get a chance because he's a cool dude too, and might get you a little bit more traction on your Lone Wolf Fist stuff, which is great. By the way, I saw the latest update.
Oh, which one? Oh, the robots? Hell yeah.
Yeah, the robots.
Oh man,
It's my favorite part.
I finally made communism work, boyos. It's happening. Just required perfect monster robots. That's all it took.
Well, I'm looking
It seems
forward
obvious,
to
but-
trying to play it though. Whether or not I can get Grim to run it again
heard
is kind of like.
I got a cheat sheet for you, Grim, so it'll be a lot easier the second time around, man. I promise.
Yeah, I've heard of all your games and stuff. From the people I hang out with, they always talk about them. I haven't had a chance to play it myself though yet. So,
Oh,
yeah.
dude. Well, get the cheat sheet. What if you need to have a reason why? Watch Grim. This man, like you guys know Grim. Like holy smokes, all the stuff you've run, man. You're an absolute expert in terms of GM. And like my failure of laying out my book, which is timing. He's just like trying his best, just like going through it. Like okay, where is this damn rule? And I did that myself. I tried to run it over the weekend, and I was like, oh god, Grim was right. I got to do another take on this. So yeah, first. The feedback received. There's a cheat sheet in the meantime, but I'll do another layout. I promise.
Well, we once we got the hang of it, it wasn't quite so bad.
No.
But,
Eventually, you guys nailed it. But like, yeah, it's just that initial hurdle is just so cruel. I'm so sorry. This is my first game.
It's all right. It's all right.
It works when it works, folks.
Now, I just want to be
Indeed.
sure because I'm looking it up. Does it have a picture of a guy lifting a tank?
That's a girl. Thank you very much. That's Nuke. And yes,
I didn't look close enough at it, so wanted to make sure if that was the correct one before I downloaded anything.
it is. That's a muscle lady. She's lovely. I love her.
Can't go wrong with that.
You don't actually make elf games though. You make like manly man games.
Fist games. I'm currently making fist games, but remember that's a subcategory of elf game, which is the overall.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh man, yeah, it's good to be here. I actually posted up that AI Trump thing on my Discord, and I can always tell like where somewhere is politically by whether they laugh at that or scowl at that. So I got lectured a little bit by one of my guys in there. But I think if you can't mock the American president, then you're not an American, right?
Yeah.
Or a Brit. I think Brits get to mock us too because they're responsible for us. You see, you lose one war, one war. Yeah, see.
Well,
Why can't you be more like Canada? Canada, calls us up every weekend.
Canada's like the dorky good son that's like, hey dad, how's it going? Hey, want to come over for a beer?
American never
like,
calls unless it needs bail money.
Absolutely, exactly. That is precisely correct.
Well, that is true. That
got
is
our
true.
leather jackets on. We're like, we're too cool for the family reunions. Australia's like, right on, mate. I just had a whole lost in my brain.
You're all right. Okay, so I can't show it because, of course, we'll get claimed. Don't you love YouTube? But I saw the trailer for Tron Ares.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but like everyone who has seen it, who's told me about it, says it looks amazing. So my secondhand review. Other people say it's good.
I'm totally in the it's gonna suck category because apparently it's like exactly what was supposed to happen in Tron Legacy finally happens in this show where all the computer crap invades the real world. And
isn't that Pixels starring Adam Sandler?
Well, except
isn't that the exact same premise as Pixels starring Adam Sandler? Uh-oh.
Basically,
I want to see Pac-Man chasing people down the street again.
Well, instead you get to see like light cycles and stuff, using their light walls to destroy real people and trucks and stuff and cut them in half and all that.
I gotta be real with you. I thought in 2025 that'd be every movie, but nah.
I haven't seen any of the Tron movies myself, so I've only heard about them.
Oh my god!
I just listened to the soundtrack for the last movie over and over.
Yeah,
it's metal. It's so good.
It's so good. But that's what bothers me is like this new one is going to have Trent Reznor doing all the music, and I'm just kind of like,
really?
Yes.
Huh. That's an interesting direction to go, but okay.
But
you can do it.
Well, but the other part that bothers me is the fact that they got Jared Leto to star in it, and I'm just kind of like, Jared Leto is the kiss of death on every single film he's been in.
Yeah,
every single one.
Hey,
isn't he still like the leader of a sex cult? Did we forget about that part?
No, he's still a cult leader.
Grim is in the chat. Xnay on the X cult say.
It's not that I forgot about it. It's like I tried to shove that into the farthest reaches of my mind, so I tried not to remember it.
We call that common
style. Where
actually,
I like
we call it
thinking. Yeah,
we call it common jealousy because if we could have that, we all would.
But yeah, you got to call me out like this, historian. Jesus.
Daniel, can you? Okay, I'm going to try to reinterpret it. Reznor did the amazing Quake soundtrack. I didn't really like it, but I've never been a big Reznor fan. I mean, like there's a few songs of his I really like, but I mean, mostly I'm just not a Reznor fan. I mean, sorry, I'm just not. Okay, we have a serious question out here, and we're got to put our game master hats on right here.
Oh yeah, I was just game mastering yesterday.
Yeah, she says, RPG question. What is the best way to inspire an unimaginative player, or at least mitigate their lack of imagination?
Ooh. That can be a tough one, dude. I find putting people in imminent peril is helpful. Because a lot of times, like whatever a party's bickering or whatever, you can put them in horrible danger, and suddenly they'll come together in the face of an even worse fate. So I think kind of the natural place for that player is like silver medal, like second fiddle, like have the most proactive player take them under their wing and give them a job to do. They're contributing, they're happy, the party's functioning better, they can be like the bard or the healer or whatever. You don't have to like rewrite the the Iliad. You can just be the healer. It's not a big deal. That'd be my move.
Yang, you got anything for this?
Yeah, well, my question would be, are they really happy playing whatever it is that they're playing? Like maybe a switch of character class would help them out,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and making them the healer or the sort of all around like a bard is good, or you could go the other way and make them like the rogue, where hey, every trap we come across, that's yours now.
I tell you what brings me down in games is if I feel like there is nothing for my character to do.
Oh, that's the worst, dude.
Yeah. If I just kind of feel like, well, I don't have any, my character has no solutions to this problem. There's no dice I can roll. There's nothing I can offer. to help you in this situation. So I just have to sit here on my thumb and, wait for the rest of the party to catch up and do something. The other thing that gets me, though, is if your character feels like it's somehow less optimized than someone else's, because I hate to say it, but a lot of games have a meta. A lot of games have min-maxers and power gamers and what have you. And that's just the way it is. And there's no worse feeling than you're playing the game and somebody else is just, really making you look like, you're like the fifth wheel in the entire party that didn't need to be there at all.
Yeah, man, I got enough humiliation in my day-to-day life. I don't need that at the table, too.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, I feel like a useless piece of shit in my regular day.
Yeah,
so I don't need to feel like it at my getaway experience.
My characters usually at the table are always useless pieces of shit, no matter how I try to build them. So it doesn't matter either way for me.
You got to soak up the bad karma for the rest of us, brother.
Oh, Grim, you're the big pro on this one. What do you got?
I mean, what other people have said about niche protection, giving people things to do, you can do that. But there are just some players who are just happy to sit there. I don't understand it. I don't claim to understand it. But they seem to be happy to just kind of sit there, swing their sword in combat, and add experience points to their character sheet. And if you put them in the spotlight, they just freeze and don't do anything anyway. So I think a lot of it still relies on the player. So just ask them if they're happy, ask them what would get them more involved, if anything, or if they're happy being a wallflower who, does smite evil every other turn.
Yeah. I mean, because let's face it, I mean, with the way niches work, some people's niches are going to be more important than others. Take, for example, our Fabula Ultima game, which we'll be playing tomorrow.
Oh, dude, I'm really interested to try that system, so I might tune into that.
Jump in and play it with us.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I'm working till noon for me tomorrow, so I might be able to do it when you do it. So let's get together after the stream. We'll talk about it. I'm not familiar with the system, but like how it could be. It's a silly anime game. He said, knowing what he unleashed on Grim.
No. It's super easy. It's super easy to pick up. It's very fun. But okay, my character
optimized it. Okay, I get it.
My character in Fabula Ultima is not optimized at all. In fact, everything that my character does is pretty random because depending on what delicacies I put together, it's a random effect. I have no control over it, and then my ability to play from my card deck depends on what I draw. If the effect I get, if I only get like, 4 of a kind and I don't get like 2 pair or something like that, I'm not attacking anything. I'm just doing healing that round. And if nobody's getting hurt in combat, I'm kind of like, well, okay, I'm just gonna sit back here. Either that or I'm, gonna try to futilely attack something with my chef knife. Because my guy's a gambler and a noodle chef. But I'm not upset about that. I mean, even though my character is not extremely useful for every single combat, because the very first combat we got into, I was wiping the floor with the bad guys because I was getting good hands. Second combat, not so useful because everything I was pulling out was like healing or status effect removal, and I'm kind of like, well, the boss isn't really using a lot of status effects or anything. So
yeah, you're very much the Kate Sith of the group.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Quinn, but yeah, it's the same exact character.
Mm-hmm.
Big blob thing that rolls dice. Those things.
Yeah, but I'm not upset about it. When we get another level, if I still feel like my character is not really contributing to the combats very well, I may just go ahead and take a level in a class that is more of a fighty class. That way I can at least, throw my hand in when my spells are down or when my food isn't working. It all works. Thoth says, as soon as you make it a pressure situation, they may not come back. Just be easygoing.
Yeah, no, he's spitting some facts. Like, he has a lot more under that. The guy gave a lot of really good advice. I was reading that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Thothy's great, man. I wish Thothy could come back on our show, but he's retired from the internet until he retires.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And there's tariffs every time he joins the stream.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is also true, Edward. Yeah, a lot of the games these days, you level up so quickly, it's easy to adjust character concept to the plot. Yeah, and now that they have milestone leveling in your favorite game that has been co-opted by wizards who live at the coast, it makes it much easier to level pretty much at will. Say what you will about that. But.
I don't know, man. I never had that much difficulty getting 1,000 gold pieces back in the old school times. So it was like a session or two, right? And you already had a second hit die. So
yeah,
my dwarf character just lost all his gold pieces in the OSE game I'm playing with Ironcaster as the GM because I decided on his downtime he's going to have a drinking contest at the tavern, and he spent more than he could afford and ended up in the drunk tank the next day.
He spent 1,000 gold pieces on drinking.
Well, no, so. He spent, it was 400 gold total that he apparently spent, but he only had like 100 something was on my character sheet. So one of the other players had their character pay off my debt, and now my character's working for his character to pay it off.
I mean, okay. Maybe the prices are a little bit different in Ironcaster's world, but it's like, if I remember right, like what, small beer is like what, 2 copper?
Yeah, that's a lot of booze.
Yeah, but small beer is not for getting drunk, remember. It's just because water will give you the death shit. So that's why you drink small beer.
But I mean, that's the cheapest alcoholic beverage you can get. So I mean, yeah, they do climb from there, but I think like what, a bottle of wine is only like 12 silver?
I have no idea. I'm just saying what happened.
Jesus. Kind of like, I'm just saying your guy, like he just like bought out the damn distillery in that town.
Well, he is a dwarf, so
yeah. Shit. All right. Well, you go, dude. That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, legendary.
We've been having a blast with it. And then after, we're going to try to clear a tower from a bunch of giant ants, and then we're going to pause that, and we're going to do... He wants to run Fabula Ultima, too, so...
Yeah, he does. He does. He's been wanting to run Fabula Ultima. He just needed to get a chance to get his feet wet with it and understand how it works. And that's also one of the reasons why I pushed Grimm so hard to run it, because he ran it for us as a one-shot, and I really loved it. And a lot of us were at that time were like going, yeah, we really wish we could have played this as a campaign. And my thing is, I would kind of like to run it as a campaign to see how it plays, but I need to play it a little bit and get the rules situated correctly in my brain so I can run it. Of course, I say this, and by the time I get ready to run it, Ashes Without Number will hit my hands, and I'll be like, "Oh, well, okay, we're doing zombie game now." Squirrel. I don't know, man.
Too many games, too little time.
That's the gamer's problem right there, man. So many books, so little shelf space.
Man, it's not a bad problem to have.
I don't know. I mean,
oh hell yeah, Horde Wars, baby.
Oh yeah.
So I have now both the soft cover and the hard cover, because the hard cover he went on sale, and I'm just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna go ahead and have, because I want to actually run an actual table at one point, maybe with this game. So the hard cover for me, and then the soft cover the players can share to look up their stuff in.
That's clever.
I hate to sound like this, and I really hate to say this, but I think I'm kind of moving away from the whole, OSE 3-6 and all these other straight up medieval type games. And the reason I say that is because I like stuff like Fabula Ultima, because handled correctly, you can make it emulate any genre you want. And that is always a valuable game to have. I mean, that's what I used to love about Torg. Torg, you could pretty much emulate any kind of game you wanted.
Yeah, I just got a copy of Classic Traveler, and that's the first energy I got from it. Was like, ooh, I could do Firefly, I could do Star Wars, I could do anything. Well, I was going to do Firefly and Star Wars, but I mean, that's enough, right?
Yeah, but could you do Night of the Living Dead?
I probably could. It's Traveler, man.
There were horror versions of the 2D6 Traveler rules. Dark Conspiracy, which they're doing a re-release of, I think, or a
Ooh.
reboot or an update.
I have the
There's
original Dark
rumblings-
Conspiracy.
Rumblings somewhere about a Kickstarter or something for that, I think.
Mhm.
Which you've sworn
And
off,
yeah.
T-shirt. So no, you can't have it.
Which one did
Traveler
I
is
swear
still
off?
one of those games that I need to play. I have not played that one yet either.
Yeah, I'm just reading. I think this is the first version of it that's like compiled in a single hardback. Like, 'cause I think they did the D&D thing where like they had a bunch of like little softbacks that were in a box set or something, and this is like the first version where they compiled. This is like the equivalent of AD&D but for Traveler, and it's great. It's really fun to read. I like the way they wrote back then. So
Yes, you have been doing some art for that classic
hell
Traveler
yeah.
campaign, and I've been
Oh, you know,
I've been seeing it.
I saw one of those elves in space. Yeah, I remember that
Yep.
one. That was cool.
I love Savo's art.
I played Dark
what were you-
Conspiracy once, and I'd been up for 72 hours. So I don't remember much.
But
it is kind of surreal seeing you right in front of the new Ghiblified avatar of historian, because it's like it looks like the Ghiblified version of you, since we just see it from like the glasses up.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, now it's better. Your primacy
No,
is restored.
I was just telling Savo in the comments that the same creators for Horde Wars Advanced are creating a sci-fi game called Dropship, which is basically tabletop Helldivers.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited about that. I don't know why I get more excited for space games than I do for fantasy games, because I kind of feel like fantasy is kind of troped out at this point.
Also, and I'm gonna get some slack for this. There aren't that many good space games. In my opinion, the Star Wars ones just weren't that good. I didn't like them when I read through them.
I mean, I like Stars Without Number, but anything Crawford is going to be a big hit for me.
Don't need Helldivers. We've got 316. I've got my copy somewhere. Just play
that. I've got a ton of space games up on the shelf, but there's very few of them that I would actually want to play long term. That's the kicker.
I actually did see an ad. There actually is a tabletop board game for Helldivers now that's out there.
Oh.
Yeah, that just came out from Steamforge. They're trying to kickstart it. Yes, Edward, yes. Machinations of the Space Princess, yes.
Yes. Well, that's science fantasy game, really.
Yes. And remember, I wrote a book for that one.
Yes. And Edward
and
wants
nobody's
to talk
buying
to you
it.
about doing some more stuff for Machinations.
Really?
Some stuff for Machinations. Yes. So
okay.
We can have a brief natter about that tomorrow.
Sweet. All right. Let's do that. Yang, you've been kind of quiet. What do you think about all this? Are we too nerdy for you?
No. I'm not familiar with a lot of those games. I did just talk to I'm blanking on his name from Blackwell Games about the Horde Wars.
Todd.
Oh yeah.
Todd, yeah. I had him on a few weeks ago. That looks pretty cool. I'd like to play it. Where I am right now, it's hard because there's not a lot of conventions around. So it's like, all right, you go online, but if you go online, everybody wants to play Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe Pathfinder. So it's
I think you mentioned this on your show too, Yang. He has a Gilded server, which if you buy his book, he's more PDF. They send you a link, and everyone's free to join if they want. There's about over 120 people on the server right now. We do domain play, that we do it by seasons. So every Sunday when a domain play, it's a new season instead of doing just straight up one time. But then everyone else just kind of runs their own games. Like I literally, maybe an hour or so after this is done, I'm going to be in a Horde Wars game with the guys on that server as well.
Enviable.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
it's something I've been thinking about. The way that solo play has become big, which I don't quite grok, because surely we should have more opportunities to find groups. But forum play was always a thing as well, and play by email. But there was always problems with that kind of play because the games aren't designed for it. So what if you designed a game that was intended for asynchronous play over forums or Discord chats or whatever else? So there might be a way to do it. The closest I think that anything's ever come is De Profundis or one of the other letter writing games. They're probably the closest thing to it. But, don't know. It's tricky. interesting design challenge.
There was an old Conan game. Like if you ever bought the Conan Barbarian comics or Savage Sword of Conan,
Oh,
they always had
Play
an
by
ad
mail?
for that. Yeah, and I guess it's still around. I mentioned it one time on Twitter, and somebody was like, "Hey, I run that game now. It's still going." Like, oh, but that was designed back in the day when there was only physical mail. So, like finding some of those old games might make that work if you play by forum.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny because it's like things overlap, and I'm not throwing any shade on the Bro SR. I'm not. Jeff Rowe's a friend. I like the dude, and R dubs, B dubs are cool with me. But the deal is like, that for all they're talking about 1-to-1 time, it almost feels a lot like those old PBEMs, play by mails. Because that's kind of what you would do is you would submit your turn, and everybody would send in their stuff, and then the next month they would tell you, okay, this is what everybody was doing, this is what happened. And I guess it's almost the same kind of a deal with 1-to-1 time, but except for the fact that the entire game is run this way. It's not just downtime or whatever.
It's funny you mentioned the Bro SR stuff. I've actually had a lot of asynchronicity in my current Call of Cthulhu campaign, and every single time I have someone who can't show up that week, I just hear the living campaign whispering in the back of my mind, like, "You can do 1-to-1." It's like, no, I can't. I don't have the strength. I don't know.
I mean, if you want to take that challenge on, you can always do it. Just run one game and just keep it continuously flowing from start to finish. People dropping in, people dropping out.
I really want to get done with my writing project because I feel like that game would eat a lot of my mind. And that's the thing is, it doesn't even seem like it's more difficult. The way they pitch it in the Living campaign isn't that it's more difficult, it's that it's more addictive to you as a game master. And I know me. I have no willpower. That's what I'll do with the rest of my life if I run it like that. So.
Yeah. Well, the players create so much of what's going on.
I know. It feeds into my own laziness as an actual human being, too. It is a powerful tool. So I'm deeply tempted. So I guess that's just a ringing endorsement.
Reminds me of running Vampire LARPs for the London domain.
Yeah, that's what it's reminded me of. I used to play in a Vampire LARP to the surprise of no one.
One of the just a random game idea I thought a while back of a game if I wanted to try 1-to-1 time would be I thought about a first edition Hunter of the Reckoning, which in my opinion, compared to all the other White Wolf material I've read, first edition Hunter of the Reckoning is the only one that did it right. Like it's like it doesn't go super hard on the lore behind everything like all the other books did, which is a big I don't need all that for me usually. It just focuses on the hunters and you're hunting monsters. That's all first edition focused on for the most part. And I thought it would be really cool to be like a 1-to-1 time being how these hunters go about solving the monsters, hunting them down, how they have to balance that with their daily life kind of deal. So I just figured that was an interesting idea to do.
You're not wrong.
Your version of the getting into the world's darkness is, what if we burned it to the ground? I gotta admire that energy. That's great.
Speaking of that, the Fang Knight playtest is finally out. I did drop the link in the private chat for you, T-shirt.
Yes, I did see it.
What was this?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna wanna get Mark back on the show to talk about that for sure.
I think they said if you guys to get in touch when it was ready, didn't they?
Yep, they did. And this seems like a good time. But yeah, his new game Fang Knight, which is
holy smokes.
Yeah. I mean, it's the guy who made Vampire all those years ago. So
the original Vampire or the newer one?
Yes. No, the original one, the 90s one, the one we grew up on.
Good one.
It's I know games, I don't know authors.
Okay, well, you need to learn Mark Reinhagen because he's one of the legends.
Yeah,
I'm also to the listening audience, I'm probably the youngest one of this current group right now, more than likely. I have just a gut feeling.
I just turned 39 years young, sir.
Oh, yeah, I'm 32, so you're a little bit older than me. Surprisingly, I thought you were in your 40s.
Be gone,
honestly.
fetus.
Whippersnappers.
I'm going to be 52 here in a few.
I always forget that you're an ancient crone of a human being.
And he sounds like a Greek god when you hear him speak.
He sounds amazing, right?
Exactly.
Well, my body sometimes forgets that it's old, and then I try to do something that I used to be able to do, and it's kind of like my body goes, you can't do that anymore. Remember?
I'm gonna try real hard not to make a your wife joke on that one, dude. But I just want you to know it's a powerful temptation. Just like your see again.
I don't have a wife, so I'm.
Okay.
That's probably why I can remain youthful because.
You're rotating your chi. I see. That's why I continue to grow older and older every day.
Hasn't stolen your vital bodily fluids.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, living with somebody screaming at you all the time is probably keeping me young. I don't know. But anyway, guys, unless you have something you want to bring up, we're at our time for the day. Does anybody want to bring up anything or?
Let me see. Oh, I've got an adventure coming up for Lone Wolf Fist. I've gotten some authors working for me now. So I got a new guy and he made an intro for Going to Hell. So that's going to be the next adventure coming out. It's called Gnaw the Hand That Feeds. Actually, I think I have art for it. Let me see.
I like the name of that. That sounds really cool.
Well, of
does
course
sound
you do.
cool.
This guy's a good writer. Like, let me see. I'll get you some art to show everybody real quick.
I can always come up with ideas, but actually sitting down and writing them is just like
that's been the complication because ideas flow very, very rapidly, and like the game is designed such as that you can kind of just take an idea to execution really quickly. So like doing an adventure is surprisingly challenging for the system. I'm trying to find here we go. Yeah, here we go. I'll give you this one.
Okay.
I don't actually know. Wait, can I? I don't even know if I can. We're gonna find out. We're gonna go to the private chat and see if I can do this.
And speaking of that, something I was doing the other day, I did it originally for shits and giggles, but then I started getting kind of serious about thinking about it. But I pulled out my Google Maps, and it has a travel time on foot, right? So just for fun, I found a point on the map that was exactly 6 miles away from me, which is 6 miles is the length across of a standard hex.
Yeah.
Map. And according to Google Maps, it would have taken me like 2.5 hours or something like that to cross and get all that mileage. And so I started thinking about it. I'm like, that's on regular city streets. I mean, granted, there might be some elevation change here and there or some traffic and stuff, but for the most part, it's pretty clear. It's roads. But then I started thinking, how do we apply this to ancient times or different times? It's like, how much more is that time going to increase if, like, say, you're walking through wilderness or you're walking through desert or you're walking uphill like a mountain or something?
Oh, it's way different, dude. Like city walking and like not city walking are night and day.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I started thinking that we may have to start looking at a different approach to how we grade what is in a hex map, how far it is across, how long it takes to cross it. Because, as I've pointed out many times, with Grim as my example, a 6 mile hex can have a lot of stuff in it. I mean, it's like what Grim has, like 4 hamlets and 2 villages and a city or some shit in it, and a castle.
Couple of towns, a castle, some Iron Age hill forts, a few bits of woodland, lakes, lots of stuff.
Okay.
Stuff that would be individual encounters.
I don't know what I'm doing in this thing. Anyway, I sent a picture of the work in progress to your Twitter there, Storian.
I gotcha.
Yeah, check that bad boy out.
And so the deal is, it's like, I've said it more than once, like most of your, ancient peoples, didn't live that far from each other. But not only that, but it was entirely possible to live your entire life back in ancient days and never leave your one little 6-mile hex. Ooh, that's pretty sweet, dude.
Nice.
So a hurried pace over uneven ground is about 4 miles an hour. So if you're going at a leisurely travel pace, that's going to be about 2 miles an hour, which would mean 3 hours to cross a hex. So.
And that's the thing. It's like what kind of startled me was I got to thinking about the Lord of the Rings again, and you see the in the movies and stuff, like they're traveling over mountains and hills and through snow and all. And I'm just kind of like, that had to be a crazy distance.
Hey, I imagine that you're with like a living embodiment of, an immortal living embodiment of like the harmony of nature itself, and a guy who's got like the blood of kings and he's lived his whole life like running around in the forest, and you're like 3.5 foot tall and clad in chainmail, and they're like, keep up, we got to save the hobbits, and you're like, son of a... That's why they made him a joke in that movie. Like he wasn't in the book, but that's one of the divergences. I was like, you know what, I kind of get this though. I think if you actually put that to screen, you've got to say something.
Well, see, that's the other thing. That's the other part of it I wanted to mention is like, okay, all of our Google Map time travel stuff, is all based on regular, humans who are of varying degrees of health and such. So I started thinking, well, but what if you have like people who move at a slower pace in your party? So the party is going to be slowed down to its slowest member.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, is that
travel rules work in my game?
So like, is that trot across a 6-mile hex? Is that going to take like closer to 5 hours or 6 hours? How much travel time can you actually make in a day?
It depends on whether or not you're willing to put the dwarf in a cart, like a rickshaw kind of scenario.
Carry the hobbits in a papoose.
Harlequin, yeah.
It's beautiful.
But in old-timey people's favor, you got to remember these people were walking everywhere every day, and they were like going up and down mountains to get various things. So I mean, I think they would be faster, and I think certain things like hills and mountains wouldn't affect them as much as it would somebody who's on their phone all day.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. But let me kick you with the other part of that. The other part of that is one thing that we're not doing when we're using Google Maps to cross a city is we're not stopping to pick berries or I'm serious because
breakfast.
Because ancient people didn't have cafes they could stop at and stuff, so you were foraging as you traveled for whatever was by the roadside, whether it was digging up roots, picking berries or fruit, or maybe trying to take your luck and shoot at an animal that was just close enough to the road that you could get it. So that also eats into your travel time. And then of course there's the obvious stuff like when you're crossing your Google Map 6-mile area, you're not getting attacked by monsters.
Yeah, there's that too.
Okay, so how much of that stuff is really contributing to how slow your party is actually moving? And I'm actually considering trying to write up something about this because I don't know how deep the simulationism should go, but I honestly think it would change a lot of people's ideas about how their games run. I mean, because players are used to like getting from point A to point B, and sometimes the GMs are just hand waving the travel time, and I'm just kind of like, are you kidding me? Do you know how much adventure can happen between here and there?
Well, that was like that was the adventure in old school D&D, was getting to the damn dungeon and then getting back with loot. Like there was so much more to it.
Exactly.
People like to yada yada over that stuff, but like, nah, dude, the logistics is what a lot of the fun comes from.
Exactly. I mean, that's why the first thing that old school players will try to get is one of those damn bags of holding.
Mm-hmm. More than literally worth its weight in gold.
It is. And I mean, I've watched it over and over and over. Old school players, that is the very first magic item they will try to acquire hook, crook, or shook. I mean, seriously. Because it breaks the game in such a way in their favor.
Well, I mean, it gets to the point where anything you do to reduce those logistics, because like otherwise you have to find some other way around it, right? You have to get a cart, and you have to get people to, guard the cart, and then you've got to make sure that they have everything they need. And like eventually it's just like, let's just build a castle over the damn dungeon. It'll be fine. I know we found this under the ruins of the previous castle, but it'll work this time.
Just make a separate board game for inventory management.
There you go.
You know how much toilet paper you use in the field? Yeah, no kidding.
No,
I've heard this
on
joke
the grass
before.
and drag yourself.
Yeah. Blackwell, it's good to see you, dude. And Blackwell is going to be with us next week, by the way. So
awesome.
If you guys want to come rejoin us for Blackwall, that would be awesome. But the other part of that too is, again, like I said, that you've got your slowest party members, and you've cleaned out your dungeon, and you're trying to get stuff back, but now you've got people who are wounded and maybe can't walk or whatever, and it's just like there is so much to it, and it's like people these days, players don't hire hirelings.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that was like the bread and butter old school play just seems like, why is this here? And it's like, well, they removed the purpose of a lot of the things. Like, there's a reason Tinser's floating disc doesn't make any sense anymore. But that's like one of the most popular spells whenever I run, because the first question is, well, how do we move all this stuff that we just acquired? I've had people cross pits with it. Like, it's a useful spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think part of it is if you look at the modern books like the 2014 5e and up, they like hirelings are just sort of like, oh yeah, and here's some hirelings, and then they never really mention how you would use it in a game. So I can understand why most DMs sort of ignore it.
Yeah, the GM advice is just not there. A new addition to D&D. Man, I'm with you.
I want to answer Edward's question was because I was in the Boy Scouts, made all the way Eagle Scout, so I camped in all sorts of and hiked through all sorts of weather and trails. So,
yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know when people started hand waving a lot of this stuff, and when it stopped being a part of the game. I think I recall it as early as second edition.
Yeah. It's part of the reason fighters became so boring, because having a little unit of fighting men with you was really useful before, and that's kind of fallen away. And so what do? I hit it with my metal stick.
Yep.
Bonk. Yeah, when you reduce them to the dice they roll once around, then they're not very interesting anymore. When they were King Arthur, they had some kind of compelling energy to them,
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that nobody does anymore, and it's not even in the rules anymore that that fighters attract a body of fighting men.
Yeah, Alexander McCrease does it, so I don't want to hear any of that malarkey, sir. He's got to play good games.
Oh well, I mean, that would be kind of like my golden ticket game, is to actually play in a campaign with McCrease. But,
oh my god, yeah. Well, yeah. You'd want to play in a Pondsmith game. I know you.
Oh well, okay, yes, that's true. Also, Cerulean, you left me a time travel present. Oh, it's good to see you, by the way, buddy. When are you gonna come join us again? Oh my god, you wonderful dude. Okay. So here, let me post this up immediately, because this is.
Did he?
I love you, Cerulean.
Seedling, so you can grow one of your own.
I have a beard.
Do you have a beard, though?
I had a beard at one point, and then I keep
shaving it.
Legion of Mist show, and everyone complained that I was playing with it too much during the show.
Look at this.
Oh wow!
Look at this. Wow.
Oh, that's rad, dude.
And that's the 1800s, so that's very close to the same sort of situation. What with having to stop for water, having to forage if you have animals or wagons and all that kind of stuff. Wow.
You have died of dysentery.
Yeah, basically.
No, you got to go way further west to die of dysentery on the regular.
Not if you're unlucky.
Okay, well there you go. Okay, that's a good point.
And if anybody has ever seen 1883, which I absolutely recommend highly, it's like my favorite Western out there besides Tombstone. You watch while, a whole group of immigrants, a big, strong group of immigrants, how pretty much over the course of their travel time, all the way from Texas to Montana and, the other states up west, how many of them actually make it. Because it's like so many of those people just die. And it's not by, not necessarily, it's not by like Indian attacks or bandits and all. I mean, it's just like common shit. I mean, like one girl in the show, she's taking a piss and she gets bitten in the thing by a rattlesnake.
Yep. Yeah, there's a non-zero chance of just being killed by some random act of nature. Like, I'm in Alaska right now. When I go on a walk, there's a non-zero chance that I will be eaten.
Mm-hmm. Joel could run into a bear.
Oh, man, or a moose. I'd rather see a bear than a moose.
Really?
100%, dude. You ever seen a moose? Oh, my God.
I've seen a moose before. They're
in person? Because they're not great. I'm not a big fan of the moose. They're more aggressive. They're stinkier, and like I don't know. I feel like I can read a bear, right? Bear coming at me. I got my bear mace. Ain't no such thing as moose mace. Moose coming at you. You better just pray. Like the moose mace is a Bible. Get on your knees and make your peace with the Lord.
That's why you need to carry a large caliber handgun with you, Joel.
Wouldn't matter.
Or a flying helmet.
Go on.
You can pretend to be a squirrel.
See you later, suckers. Propeller beanie. Yeah, thankfully the Dr. Robotic defense system. It's only proof against hedgehogs, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Edward knows. He gets it.
There you go.
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that will kill you in nature, dude.
Yeah. And that's stuff that most people don't take into account. I mean, like, these are in our world, these are problems. Can you imagine these problems in the fantasy world? Plus, you have, attacks by goblins and bandits and orcs and God knows what. I mean, like Griffin going hunting and decides your horse looks tasty while you're riding it.
Right, but there are roads, right? Right near me, there's an ancient trailway called the Harrow Way. It runs across the top of a whole bunch of hills, and it was already there when the Romans got here.
Sparrow's got it.
It used to go to Stonehenge. Then they built a new side road off it that went to Canterbury when Christians were doing pilgrimages. It's truly, truly ancient. So they had roads, and they would be patrolled. And there would be chapels and rest stops and things on the way. So there would be safer ways to travel. And in a fantasy world, you probably want to stay on the road, stay on the path. Yep. Otherwise, you get eaten or something.
Oh, yeah, you got to follow the yellow brick road,
Yeah.
My rejoinder to that statement is that the oldest, most important epic we have is the Odyssey, which is guy tries to get home, fails for 20 years. Right?
And there is one more consideration that most people don't consider, and that is most of your medieval knights were young guys. We're talking like 17, 18 years old when they started out, and you have to think about this. You have unruly, bored 17 and 18-year-old knights, guys who are fully armored with swords and the capability of fighting, and a lot of them turned to banditry.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the world record holder for man not asking for directions was Moses, though.
Oh man, yeah, that guy was going for the high score.
Yeah, no kidding, JP.
It's like, but think of the goblins and the orcs. They have families too, as most people would say now these days.
Not for long.
Hungry flesh-eating families.
No,
I had a long good health. Right, no, I had a lawful good elf that threw a bomb into a goblin encampment at one point and just picked through the bomb. Like, he didn't lose his alignment. Like, they're goblins, dude. Like, sorry.
Okay, no, that just made me. I just had to bring this up really quick because I thought I've been seeing this all week. Did you all see the clip from the new Devil May Cry series where the American military went into hell and American Idiot is playing in the background?
Yeah, no, I'm
avoiding that.
Like, I love Devil May Cry. I don't want to see them like parade its corpse around like Castlevania. Those
No.
monsters.
It's like,
Yeah,
that was so cringe and so dated.
You do realize that is a new epithet, right? Is like, may Adi Shankar make a cartoon series about your favorite IP?
Yeah, that's a new age curse for the modern age.
Yes,
modern problems require modern curses.
There you go. May Adi Shankar make you? Well, he doesn't have to make one for Halo, I guess, because they've already butchered that one.
God,
I liked his Guardians of Justice though. That was good.
Well, let me at least end this on one positive thing. This is a show. The last time I watched Apple Plus or Apple TV was to watch C with Jason Momoa, which was awesome, so good. And then it ended, and after 3 seasons, and I'm like, no, this was too good. Why did you stop? So then I quit watching Apple TV. Well, they are finally bringing a show that I think might actually get me to subscribe again. Let me dig it up real quick, and hopefully we can get it to work without any problems, and I won't get copyright claimed. But this looks pretty good.
Security unit, or sec unit, that was built to protect and obey humans, and humans are idiots. But now that I've hacked my programming, I can do whatever I want, as long as they don't find out.
Now, let's talk security. We need you to select a sec unit to take on the mission. This is the newest model available.
What's the one behind it?
That's a refurbished model.
Oh, look at that piece of crap. Oh, wait, that's me.
Which one's the least expensive? That one, but you get what you pay for.
True.
Wouldn't be so creepy if it didn't.
It'll be okay.
I didn't know that's a face.
Yeah, it's kind of a sweet face.
Stop staring at me.
I wasn't. Stop staring at me.
I have been noticing some anomalies with the sec unit.
Uh-oh.
And when I plugged into its system, the unit was already rogue.
It calls itself Murderbot. That was private.
It's a killing machine.
Murderbot?
Can you stop calling it Murderbot? It's terrifying.
You know what I mean? That's what it calls itself, so I am just being respectful.
Do you think we can trust it?
It seems like it's going through something. Eye contact.
You could have killed me.
There was a chance, yes. Everything turned out fine.
This just feels like you took Isaac from the Orville show and just ramped it to 11 at that point.
I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be good. I mean, I don't know. I will actually probably go ahead and start up a subscription to Apple TV just to watch it again.
I'm giving a tentative approval.
Saving
to
money,
this
T-shirt.
On yes,
I know.
God, the disposable assassin. So
I'll just have to dump one of my other services. I'm not really using Max all that much right now.
That's what I do. I just cycle out the one I'm not watching that much.
I already had to cancel Hulu. So.
If it turns out he really does want to murder humans, then I'm totally in.
Hell yeah. It just becomes Bender. That's the Bender origins.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to. I'm afraid if I read the book, I'll be disappointed when the show comes on. But maybe after the show, okay? Then you can kind of delay your disappointment. And go, oh, the book was better.
Yeah, I watched the take on Dune that David Lynch did prior to reading the Dune book, and it really colored how I read that book. So sometimes you got to watch the show first.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm still mad that because we were big Harry Potter fans in my family, read all the books. I hated how they treated the 4th movie with the maze. It was a complete just a wipe of what that whole process was like in the book. We did not like the maze scene in the movie.
I think my favorite part of the Harry Potter movies that they didn't know that the main kid they did for Harry Potter was going to get as huge and beefy as he got. So he just became this just massive man. As the series went on, it's me, Harry Potter. It's amazing. I love that.
Well, okay, just a passerby. I mean, that's a little different because it's like, yeah, Fallout has tons and tons of lore and many games. And then they bring out the one season of the show. And yes, the show had problems, but it was still fun to watch. Kinda.
It should have been a 20-minute long show and should have just ended in them walking out of the vault and getting immediately eaten by a death claw. Because that's every single time I try to play Fallout, dude.
Fallout New Vegas is better.
Fallout New Vegas was really good.
Because if you get eaten by a death claw, I know exactly how I'm going to die in that game.
For it to be truly accurate, you'd have to leave the vault and then spend the entire rest of the episode trying to punch a single rat.
True.
I keep missing.
I keep missing, even with VATS. Oh my gosh. All right, everybody out there in YouTube land. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. I mean, we had a lot of people tuning into us, so you guys are good luck for me. You guys want to join up anytime, let me know. I will be happy to have you on. And next week, we will be having DM Blackwell on, so I know you guys are not going to want to miss talking to him. And hopefully we'll have Castor on.
I will definitely be there for that.
All right. There you go. So tune in to us tomorrow on Grim Streams, and I'll probably be restreaming it myself. And hopefully Grim won't play any Fabula Ultima music this time and get us copyright claimed again.
Yeah, I thought we were cleared, but we were not. So
I did too.
I did too. Use AI to generate some music that won't get copyright claimed.
Yeah, that's
will annoy musicians, but anyone who brings a guitar to a party deserves what's coming to them.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Exactly. But yeah, catch us tomorrow when we play Fabula Ultima, and maybe some of you will want to join us. Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe?
It is open. It is designed to be episodic. Create a character or something and come and join in.
Yeah.
Cool.
6 players
and have
is
fun.
about my maximum, but
you never know. We may have people who aren't there. So
we shall see.
Yes. But until then, y'all take care, everybody out there in YouTube land, and we will see you tomorrow and on Tuesday with the Geeks. Till then, take care.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams.